this video will talk about the impact of stress and cortisol specifically on eczema. So being in nature, being one with the grounding effects of just laying on the grass, walking on the grass, breathing fresh air, all of that is grounding. So for individuals that suffer from any condition, any disease, grounding and de-stressing is incredibly important for the nervous system, which runs the body, for the endocrine system, which also runs the organs, because the endocrine system governs specific organs. So for, let's say, the kidneys, adrenals sit on top of the kidneys, and adrenals deal with the stress effect. So they handle stress regulation. And if the adrenals are producing too much cortisol, or if they're too weakened, then the kidneys cannot take care of the waste properly, our body's waste, the lymphatic system. So in order for everything to run efficiently, we need to be in the state of peace, in the state of relaxation. Just listen to all of those birds. How can you not be relaxed? How can your system not be relaxed when you're listening to nature and nature sounds? So for anybody suffering from eczema, my advice is to find a way to relax every single day, however that works for you. If that means going to the park, laying down on grass, listening to nature sounds in your room, going for a yoga class, doing meditation, any way you can get your body in the parasympathetic state of the nervous system, which is a healing state. So what happens when we're stressed is that our bodies produce a lot of cortisol. The adrenal glands, again, sit on top of the kidneys. So the adrenal glands produce cortisol to offset the stress response. When we're stressed, we're creating acids. Our bodies create acidic compounds that mimic the same compounds that are produced when we eat bad foods, when we drink alcohol, when we have coffee. All of those compounds are acidic to the body. But emotions and stress also produce the same effect. The body's holistic. So whatever chemistry we interact with, be that emotional, physical, or mental, is going to be accumulated in our bodies. So again, the adrenals deal with the stress response, and they sit right on top of the kidneys, and they control the kidneys. If the adrenal glands are dysregulated because of our very active lifestyle, modern stress, inability to deal with our emotions properly, what happens is we shut them down. And when we shut down the adrenal glands, or we weaken them over time, we also impact the function of the kidneys. So now the kidneys can't expel or filter the lymphatic waste correctly. And they're the main organ that is in charge of getting this waste out of the body. But then we also have the skin. And if the kidneys are weakened, the skin takes over. And that's what you see with eczema. Eczema is a side effect of lack of proper kidney filtration. So if the waste is not coming out of kidneys, the body then tells the skin, which is also a waste eliminator, to take on the brunt of that waste disposal. And that is exactly what you see with eczema. All that redness, all that burning and itching is basically the body's waste system, the waste that the body couldn't get rid of through the kidneys. So when we activate the stress response, we tell the body, I'm not safe. And when the body feels unsafe, it basically puts us in the mode of fight or flight, and it pumps adrenaline. So adrenal glands pump adrenaline as an offset to this response. And the adrenals also pump cortisol, which is the body's way of cooling down inflammation that is produced by the stress. So stress causes this acidic influx of chemistry in our bodies, and then the cortisol is pumped so it can cool down that stress, cool down that acidic inundation in our bodies. So imagine the adrenals are constantly pumping adrenaline and cortisol, and we're constantly stressed. So it's a cycle of being in fight or flight, and then the body trying to take care of the repercussions of that. So what happens is that we tax the adrenals over time. They're constantly needing to work. So any organ that is overworking, basically compensating maybe for even other organs, it's constantly doing more work than it should. So anytime that we tax a certain organ, it goes from a normal state to a hypo or hyper state of performance, which is basically overactive or underactive, and it dysfunctions over time. So when the adrenals begin to underperform, that also taxes the kidneys because they work as a pair. The adrenals tell kidneys what to do. So they're the guides. They're the master glands that controls how kidneys function. So if the adrenals are not functioning properly, then you can know for a fact that the kidneys are not functioning properly as well. The kidneys are the master eliminators of waste in the body. They work with the lymphatic system, the body's waste system, to get rid of acids, to get rid of waste, chemicals, any compound that the body doesn't need that's water soluble. It's going to take care of through the kidneys, and it's going to expel it through urine. Another obviously elimination organ, the biggest one, is the skin. But the skin is secondary to the kidneys. So when you sweat, when you go to a sauna, you expel a lot of waste. Sweating is a mechanism of your body to expel waste from it. So again, when the kidneys are not performing because of the adrenal weakness, because of a lot of different systemic issues that could be going on, then the skin will take over. Let's say the skin is taking over, but the skin itself is on a weaker side. Genetically or because of the thyroid. The thyroid controls the way the skin sweats and what comes out of the body, the metabolism of the body. So if the skin doesn't sweat properly, it's harder for the skin to take out these acids without any repercussions. So if you have a harder time sweating and you have eczema, chances are your thyroid is down, your thyroid is weakened. So if we have adrenals that are down, we have a thyroid that's down, where do we look to for a solution? Those two are part of the great endocrine system. So the endocrine system is the master system that controls all the organs, and each endocrine gland controls a specific organ. And if that gland is not performing really well, then that organ is not going to function optimally. And if that organ doesn't function optimally, then chances are other organs are impacted as well. So what happens in terms of eczema, if we want to heal it properly, if you want to see eczema recede for good, we have to put our attention on the endocrine system. In my eczema protocols, I specifically target the endocrine system, the kidneys, obviously the adrenals, which are a part of the endocrine system, and I look to the lymphatic system. I clean the lymphatic system with food and with fruits. So we work holistically, looking at all of those systems. And obviously diet is only one puzzle. We have to look to the stress, the chronic stress, the HPA axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis, which handle the stress response. We have to really look into that triad and balance our nervous system. So once you understand the body from a holistic perspective, your solution will then just open up to you. This solution has to be holistic as well, because we are holistic beings. So if we're eating the right foods, but we're not taking care of our emotional life, and we're not taking care of our thoughts are basically controlling us, we're not in control of our thoughts, then we will not get well, no matter what we do. So that is kind of the puzzle of the healing process. It is not necessarily as simplistic and reductionist as the medical system and a lot of even health systems tell us. It is a holistic way to finding your balance again. And that balance is a unique process for all of us, because we all have different triggers. We all have different ways that our nervous system works in this world. We all have different degrees of food addiction. We all cope with stress in different ways. So the way that we can rebalance and bring ourselves back to a state that feels healthy and holistic for us is very different from a person to person. But the blueprint is pretty much the same. Take care of the physical health, take care of your emotional health, and of course your mental health. And all of those three are absolutely part of the eczema healing journey. So the best way to deal with stress is to first figure out what your triggers are. Where are your biggest triggers of stress? And then when you align with how you can best deal with those triggers, you find that the biggest stressor is your job, then you understand that, okay, if the job triggers me in some way, these are the ways that I can handle that stress. I'm going to take deep breaths, I'm going to do breath work, or I'm going to immediately leave my seat and I'm going to go grab a lemon water. And then I'm going to read 5 pages of the book that I love, or watch a show that makes me really happy and where I can, have some laughter. So whenever we have to have a plan basically for our stress signals or our stress triggers. If that plan is, okay, if this happens, this is how I'm going to react. The more we can take control over these factors, these situations, and they don't take control over us. So it's about having a plan. If maybe our stress factors are our family, maybe we take a few hours of the day and we take it for ourselves, for our self-care, and we find ways to basically cope with these triggers by working internally on ourselves, obviously, on how we see the world, how we project, how we handle different situations, but also being prepared and knowing what to do when we're triggered is going to help us activate that habit of responding in a certain way, and that is going to become our reality. The small habits and reactions that we create today are going to become the way that we respond and handle our reality tomorrow. So all of these are important, and obviously your environment becomes you. So wherever you spend a lot of time is going to impact your physiology and your mental and emotional life. So if you spend some time in nature, that is going to affect the way you feel inside. And the more you do it consecutively, meaning every day, you make it a habit to spend some time in the park, or spend some time doing yoga, or going to an activity that makes you really happy and you connect with other people, that's going to regulate your nervous system. So finding ways to cope with reality that's right for you, right for your situation, right for your stress triggers is extremely important. So if all of this makes sense to you and you need more guidance and you want to know exactly, okay, I do understand that my eczema is caused by my emotional life, by my chronic stress, and I do understand that there's a physical component and a dietary component, but I don't exactly know how it all connects. If that is you, I have a free course that is going to explain all of these elements. And that course is found in my free community, where I teach women how to heal their eczema for good, meaning reverse it for good in 90 days without any medication and steroids. This community is all about empowerment. It's all about learning what eczema is, how to tackle eczema in a very holistic way, and to have a support of a community of other women going through the same journey. You can find the link to the course, the free course, and the community in the description below. So thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions about anything I talked about, please let me know in the comments below. I answer every question and I love to communicate with my audience. So thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon.